Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Racing Debrief. And we got a good weekend of racing for you guys. To break down, discuss. Of course, last week we missed the Racing Debrief. I had to work on Monday, so I wasn't able to record the video, and with all the other videos going on, this one typically just sort of fits in the schedule whenever. So, fortunately, we didn't do the Racing Debrief last week for Michigan, but we're here for Indianapolis. So, let's go over it. First, we'll go into the Truck Series. IRP, Friday night. It's a solid race for the playoffs. For the Truck Series, their first race of the playoffs. They only have 6 races left in the season now, between now and beginning of November. For that series, again, like I said earlier, the Truck Series isn't one that I'm super invested in this season. Typically, it goes through a period of time of what series I'm less invested in between Truck and Xfinity. And I feel like Truck Series this year is that series that I kind of, if I miss a race, I miss a race. There's just not, it doesn't do it for me. I feel like the Fox broadcast doesn't really help either. They're missing things all the time, and I think it hurts when you don't have your announcers there at the track either. They definitely got B-team camera crews. But Ty Majeski got his win that he's been waiting all season. He's been close a few times, including Richmond a few weeks ago. So, good to see him get a win. But now we'll move on to Xfinity. And this race was pretty good. It was Ty Gibbs and AJ Allmendinger throughout that race. It's going to come out of one of those two. Very much had a feel of last season with those two on the road courses. And I thought it was a good race. Again, who was going to win of the two kind of throughout the whole thing, and you don't have the stage cautions. Ty Gibbs had a little bit of an issue in the pits, so it took him a little longer to get out, and that put him behind a few cars, but you could just tell he was the fastest car throughout that race. And eventually, a late caution bunched them all up, got him a little closer, and he was able to go on through, take the lead, and win by 5-6 seconds. And for me, that was cool. Of course, Ty Gibbs is one of her drivers in NASCAR. Second only to Kevin Harvick. So, to see one of the drivers that I like win a race finally at any level this year has been a little bit of a struggle compared to previous years for drivers that I've liked. Obviously, Kevin Harvick's had a pretty good, successful seasons recently, besides 2021. And Ty Gibbs dominated Xfinity last year. So, there's a good balance of those drivers winning. And it was a little bit difficult this season to go through each race and be like, oh, my drivers didn't win again. So Ty Gibbs winning, that was awesome. His burnout at the end, super cool, and a lot of people didn't like it. But again, that's just because Ty Gibbs hate more than anything. If another driver did it, it would have been brilliant. I'm just hoping we get a die-cast of that car. If we do, I'm pre-ordering it day one. But now we jump to the Cup Series. And the Cup Series put on an awesome race. I really love Indy Road Course. I'm all for it. I know a lot of people don't want Indy Road Course. People are like, oh, we should go back to the Oval, whatever. Hopefully that narrative shifts a little bit with this race. I know a lot of people don't like the wreck fest that we've seen in 2021 and 2022 at the Indy Road Course. The first year with tearing up the curbs and everybody flying around the track into barriers all the time. And then last year, a lot of the Turn 1 chaos. Moving the restart zone back did prevent some of that chaos. Again, both Xfinity and Cup. Having the restart zone before Turn 14. So you had the cars a little bit more spread out as they went through 14, down the straight into Turn 1. You still had some action there, but it definitely neutralized the we're trying to go 5 wide into an area that cars really can only go by at 2 wide. So you definitely had a little bit less the chaoticness of that. It was also cool seeing just the amount of international drivers in the field, drivers coming over from whether it's being former F1 drivers, getting drivers from V8 supercars. Like there's a lot of different things there. Seeing those drivers in different racing series come over, do NASCAR. I thought it was pretty cool to have them throughout the field. It's a little interesting storyline to see how they're all doing. Hopefully we get more of that at other tracks. We see a little bit at Chicago, a little bit at Circuit of the Americas, but Indianapolis seems to be the one that brings them all in, and brought in quite a lot. The racing itself was very tame. The least cautions we've seen on a road course, and I think I said on Twitter it's like 40 years. The longest race to go caution-free in NASCAR since at least sometime in 2016. I believe it's some Atlanta race, time-wise, to go caution-free, because there was only one caution. It was right at the beginning. Joey Logano yeeted Justin Haley off the track into the tires. But that was it. After that restart, Joey Logano spun out. Ty Gibbs got spun out. And that was pretty much it from there. That was the end of the cautions. Of course, we had drivers locking up. We had drivers hitting the wall. We had drivers pushing each other off the track a little bit. But there was nothing that was bring out a caution worthy. AJ Allmendinger went through the gravel towards the end of the race. But yeah, throughout the race, it's pretty much Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, Chase Elliott, in some of those, whatever order of those three. Suarez winning McDowell winning stage 1, Denny Hamlin winning stage 2, him and Brad Keselowski had an interesting strategy to stay out and then pit right after the end of the stage. Of course, no cautions in it, but good strategy to make a solid points day out of it. And again, at the end, you have McDowell, Elliott, Suarez. Those three were the ones that were in the lead the entire time. McDowell had the best car, dominant car, led so much of that race. Towards the end, Chase Elliott caught him with like 1 to go, got right to him, but I think it was McDowell slowing it down. Just make sure, doesn't mess up his corners. The only thing that really held back those three at all was Suarez. When they had the tire come off of it, the hose underneath the tire, team had to go back, jack the car up to get the hose off. So that really hurt his time. But he still finished third. So solid in the points there. McDowell making it into the playoffs now. 2 races to go. 3 spots available. If we don't see a new winner at Watkins Glen, Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski will make the playoffs on points, because they're far enough ahead. Literally the only thing that can knock either one of them out is 2 new winners. That's it. Because one of them will miss the playoffs. But if there's not 2 new winners, they're in. They're good. They're far enough for points. Because the most you can earn in points in a race is 60. So if you're above 60 with less than that to go, because the most you can get is 120, they're both at 140 something. I think Keselowski's 43, Harvick's 45. Like, they're above that 120. So Harvick, I believe, would have locked in because he's higher in points. If McDowell didn't win, or whatever one of them was higher in points, would have locked in. But McDowell won. 3 spots left, 2 races. Again, it comes down to that bubble spot. You got Suarez, you got McDowell, you got Gibbs. Those are the main guys that really can go in on points. Gibbs got knocked back a little bit just by the fact that he got spun and there was no cautions. He came back to like 12th, but it took the whole race just because of the fact there was no cautions. Had there been cautions, he probably would have been able to catch up, but without it, it's very hard to drive to the field. So going from whoever he was, 30th to 12th, is pretty good. Again, I would like to see him get higher in the field. And yeah, just to see what happens there. But I think it'll be an interesting battle. Again, Watkins Glen's another good track for a lot of those same drivers against Suarez, Gibbs, Elliott. They're all good at road courses. So we'll see what happens at Watkins Glen. As for Indianapolis and Indianapolis road course, I think the road course should stay. Again, we had some good oval races. for me, the last 2 oval races, seeing Kevin Harvick win was cool. And also his paint scheme this week was very cool, being a Tony Stewart throwback car from Tony Stewart's last season. Kevin Harvick to run that same paint scheme at the same track is very cool. Of course, he didn't really get to perform well with it because Kevin Harvick struggles at road courses quite a lot. But yeah, not his type of track. But I'm still hoping he gets 1 win this season. 12 races to go. Getting close to the end. But Indianapolis road course, I would keep it. Personally, I know a lot of people are on the bring back the oval train. And again, those are the most vocal people. I think the road course this time proved itself to sort of show what people want. People want to see some strategy. People want to see, long runs. We don't get to see that often. That was cool. And again, I think that I'd like to see it again. Apparently the oval is going to be tested with the new car, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to the oval. But the road course, I like it. I think it's a really cool, unique track layout. And I'd be disappointed to not see it again. Just like Daytona road course, that was very, very cool to see. I'd like to see that return in some way. But, yeah, I think the best solution, if you want to do it, is alternate. I don't think there's a problem with that. I think keeping Xfinity on the road course is cool. They did it in 2020. They were able to go from road course to oval in a day. And again, I think the doubleheader with IndyCar and NASCAR is cool on the same track. So I'd like to see it. I think that doing a alternate between oval and road course is the best strategy, though. So with that, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. Next week, Watkins Glen. That's going to be a good one. Watkins Glen, one of the coolest tracks in the NASCAR calendar. Always provided awesome moments. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.